Hey YouTube, how you guys doing? This is Silver Husky again, doing a video today on getting started, right? So a lot of people, especially with everything going on with the economy and economic downturn or uncertainty, they want to look into diversifying or maybe even trying to find a way to hedge against inflation. And a lot of people say, hey, precious metals is a great way to go. However, gold is kind of on the pricey side. So it's more affordable cousin silver would be the topic, right? That'd be the one that you'd want to look at. Of course, if you're rolling in the dough, then yeah, maybe gold would be a better, more appropriate avenue. But some would argue that because of the gold to silver ratio, that it's actually silver. So I wanted to give a video today on getting started and what that looks like for anybody who has not yet made their first purchase. I want to just get into some of the basics. So where do you want to start? I would say for any beginner, start with American coinage, right? So here's some great examples of American silver coinage, and ironically, a dime bag full of dimes. No pun intended there, but anything minted before, on or before 1964, that's of this type, right? So you have the Morgan silver dollars, previously peace dollars. Also, you have the 1964 Kennedy half dollars. Before that was Franklin's and Walking Liberties and Barbers. And you also have these dimes, right? So you can check the date on this, 1952. You can see the sides of them. They're all silver. They don't have that copper tone to them. Neither do the halves. These are all silver. And they may look like junk, but believe it or not, these have 90% silver content in them. And of course, a lot of you already know this, but you know what? When I first started getting into silver stacking, I didn't know it either. So, what you have to define for yourself is, do you want to be a stacker or do you want to be a collector? So a stacker is going to collect or amass a precious metal based off of the amount of weight that they can carry. So they want to get the most bang for their buck. Generally speaking, this is going to be some of the cheaper stuff. But you can also find generic, right? And thankfully I have a setup so you can't see my face, because if I was recording this straight on, that is how reflective this really is. And yes, one of silver's properties is that it's super reflective. But yeah, anyways, you can see that this Atmex bar has a mirror finish. It's a 10 troy ounce. Yeah, this is a generic, very easy way to stack a large amount of silver for a cheap or almost in effect non-existent premium in some cases. Like if you go to the coin shop, they might sell you this right at spot because it's a generic bar. But in other case, you have these, right? The value behind these is these are government issued. They were once upon a time widely accepted. They are still widely accepted. You can still take this to a bank and turn it in and get $1. However, this is worth a heck of a lot more than $1. But it's still currency, right? It is minted by the United States government, and there's tons of it out there. There's still for a pretty cheap rate. Second option to this, right? So this is called constitutional silver. It can also be called junk silver or 90% silver. Secondary to this would be the bars, right? This is a pretty cheap way to amass. And the third way that I want to talk about is your government issued bullion, right? So this is a 2011 American Silver Eagle. Really cool piece. I know a lot of you do have American Silver Eagles, but what if you're not from the United States, right? And it's kind of hard for you to get these. What if you're from Canada? Well, cool. Canadians have the Canadian maple leaf. Difference between the two, this is 3/9 fine silver. This one's actually 4/9 fine silver. It's a little bit smaller in size, a little thicker around the waist, right? But it's still a really cool coin. And yeah, you can call these coins because they do have a denomination on them, right? Here on the back of this, $5. And this one, it says $1. So it does have a denomination. I'll bring that up in maybe another video and talk about why they do that and the benefits of that. But let's say you're not in United States or Canada. Maybe you're in Mexico. Hey, Mexico's got bullion also. But guess what? This one actually doesn't have a denomination. Beautiful, beautiful round. I don't even know if I can call it a coin because it doesn't have a denomination, it doesn't say pesos or anything like that, but it is still a beautiful piece, and it is minted by the what is it, the Mexican Mint. So there's 3 examples. Whoa, just beating up my silver here, but Austrian Philharmonic. From the land down under, we have the Australian kangaroos. The Australians have a few different ones as well. They have these pretty cool koalas, also highly reflective. They're pretty interesting looking pieces, but we'll stick with the kangaroos because that is, you know, the original bullion piece. And we can't not mention the Britannia. In Africa, there's also the Krugerrands. These are just examples again, but you should stack probably the majority of your stack if you're going to do these bullion coins should be whatever country you reside in. That should be the most the brunt of your stack, and the reason being is they're going to be the most widely accepted in any coin shop. You have to think forward thinking. One day, if I want to sell, will they take what I'm giving them? And if you're in the United States, this one is going to hold a lot more weight even than a, you know, if you're holding a bunch of maple leaves, right? Just our neighbors to the north. It doesn't matter though. This one's more widely accepted because, hey, we're in the United States. So those are the most common ones you're going to find. Again, constitutional silver, right? Generic. Give you a couple more examples of generic. Prospector round. I think this one was a Mike Maloney round. Yeah, goldsilver.com. Really cool piece. But yeah, anyways, it could be constitutional silver, it could be these generic, or it can be, you know, an American Silver Eagle, American minted bullion coins, or government issued bullion coins. What to stay away from. And I think that's an important topic too, because a lot of times you're just inundated with the possibilities of what you could buy, and you're looking at, you know, where else can I spend my money? These. And you're looking at that and you're like, wow, but you just showed me that, right? Yeah, I did. I showed you that, right? But the difference is when you throw it in a slab, now it's something different. Now this is a collector's piece, right? MS70, all that means is that it's a perfect coin, right? Mint state 70. Perfect coin means that it's going to command a higher premium. What's a premium? All these words, right? A premium is the amount over its silver weight, right? Its value in its weight in silver or gold, whatever it might be. The premium goes up depending on different factors, like if it's in perfect condition, if it is slabbed in this PCGS or an NGC capsule or slab. You know, little things like that, they change the price or the value. Another one might be like this Valcambi, that's the name of the company, Valcambi, Combi bar, right? And you're taking these really cool little 1 gram pieces of silver, and they're all in this really cool breakaway thing. You can just sit there and snap these apart, and you have all these little individual 1 gram silver pieces. And yeah, it's toned. That doesn't make a difference. It's still silver. But the interesting thing about this, about something like this, is that these grams all of a sudden become worth more or carry a higher premium just because they are divisible, right? So that's kind of weird, right? Like that, if you have it broken up into grams, it's worth more. Yeah, I would stay away from that if you're brand new. If that's what you want to store, if that's what you want to stack, right? Some people say the what's it called? The divisibility makes it something that's more marketable or more useful in a prepper situation, right? In a situation where you wanted to buy something small, and I don't know, let's say the value of silver goes up by a ton, and now it's 1 gram is worth what you could buy $20 worth in now, and you don't want to use a whole coin because it'd be worth too much, right? So you want something divisible. Well, we already talked about that. This is divisible, right? It actually takes 14 of these to make 1 ounce of silver. So there's your division right there, 14 of those. So very interesting thing. Yeah, this is something that attracts a lot of people. They get kind of sucked into that, whether it be the grams, whether it be the slabs, or whether it be some other, you know, bullion piece that you don't really know what it's worth, but it looks cool, something that has a cool I guess, a cool visual appeal to it. You like dogs, so you buy this coin, and because the person selling it to you is selling it for $50, you're like, you know what, I haven't seen that before, let me go ahead and jump on it. But if you don't really know anything about that coin, I would hold off on buying it, right? Because we don't really understand what that coin's going for. Now, I know that, like, for instance, this coin, you can find it for about 25 to $30 would be pushing it, right? However, I got this one for probably about 19, not so long ago, right? Premiums are still at a decent rate, and I got it just a little bit over spot. So deals can be found as long as you're not just jumping on the first thing that looks pretty. So what that really means, all that said, is, you know, don't dive on the first thing you see. The other risk that you're taking is not knowing whether or not something is real, right? And that's why I prefer to stick with things like an American Silver Eagle. Now, of course, an American Silver Eagle can be copied, right? The Chinese have really good methods of making things look real. So you got to be careful. Something like this also might be a really fat, chunky piece, and this one's got a lot of weight to it. But, you know, if it's not carrying the trademarks that you would look for, or maybe it even does have the trademarks, who knows, right? But do you know if it's real, right? Do you have a tester? Do you have the Sigma tester to see, is this really 3/9 fine silver, or does it have a copper core and it's just coated with a few layers of silver to make it look legit? If you're new to stacking, I would stay away from, this happens to be real, thankfully, but if you're new to stacking, I would stay away from things you're not familiar with, things you don't know, right? I would stay away from websites that are selling stuff that looks too good to be true, right? If you see American Silver Eagles for $12 a piece, that's probably a scam, and I would probably advise to stay away from that. Now, again, that doesn't mean that there aren't deals that can be had. There are always going to be deals, but just be mindful of what you're doing, and if you feel like it's too good to be true, I would stay away from it. If you feel like you know, it could be a scam, if you feel like you just don't know enough about it, don't pull the trigger, right? Hold off on that. And, you know, that's what makes this community so great, is that we're in it together, right? We're all stackers. We're all excited about building our wealth, or at least, you know, setting up our assets for our future. So we help each other out, right? So ask people in the community, reach out to people. You know, if you don't want to reach out to me, there's about 100 other YouTubers and Instagram personalities that if you ask them a question, they probably know a thing or two and can help you out. So anyways, that's what I have for you. If you're new, go ahead and hit subscribe. You know, there's a lot of information that's going to be shared on this channel and is already shared on many other channels, but I always encourage people, just learn as much as you can before you start pulling the trigger. Don't feel like you're rushed, right? Don't feel like, you know, the spot price is going to shoot up tomorrow, so I need to buy a ton of stuff today, and then find out 3 months from now that you overpaid because you pulled the trigger too soon. Learn everything you can, take your time, educate yourself, make connections, right? Meet people, go to your local coin shop, meet the person there. Hopefully they're a nice person. A lot of them are, some of them aren't, but hopefully they're nice enough to share some wisdom with you and share with you what they've learned. But yeah, anyways, that's what I have for you today. Hope you guys got a lot out of it. Leave a comment below, hit the thumbs up, hit the bell, and I'll see y'all real soon.